If you've watched this channel for any amount of time, you know that I'm a fan of Free League. They've never sponsored any videos, and especially not this video, but I tend to go out of my way to review every core rulebook that they publish because I think that they do such a great job with their products, both from a game design perspective and from the perspective of physical products. You'll see a lot of people online echo my same sentiments about Free League. It's a beloved company and they tend to garner a tremendous amount of support with each Kickstarter that they launch. But not everyone is a fan. Detractors, more and more, cite the fact that they publish maybe too many games and rely too heavily on licensed IPs. The first wave of these IP haters came when the Alien RPG was announced, and they have repeated their refrain with The One Ring, which is of course based on The Lord of the Rings, then Blade Runner, and now most recently The Walking Dead. There's a lot to unpack here, and it's all a matter of opinion, so just be warned. I think that the announcement of the Walking Dead RPG is a bit worrisome for a couple of reasons. And I'm also looking forward to the Walking Dead RPG, which I'll get to later in the video. So if you're on Free League's mailing list in any way, then you've already seen announcements that they've secured the license to make an RPG based on AMC's The Walking Dead TV franchise. It was the Kickstarter announcement graphic that really got me worried about the future of Free League and about all the problems that people have with licensed IP games. Let's just take a look at this. First of all, the game is going to be called The Walking Dead Universe Role-Playing Game. I understand that The Walking Dead started off as a graphic novel. It's actually one that I've read almost every issue of. I also understand that the TV show has spawned a number of spin-off miniseries and shows, most in development at the time of this recording. But to put the word universe in the title of the game is just so obviously a decision made by the licensors. This game is not a spacefaring science fiction RPG, so why does it have universe in the title? Because I'm sure the AMC junior execs working with Free League felt the need to make sure that everyone knew that you're dealing with a major franchise here. It's the sort of decision that a non-creative would make. So that's the first red flag. It's a really bad name for a game, most likely dictated by non-creatives in a corporate office somewhere. The second red flag comes in three places at once, and it probably all stems from the same junior execs who came up with the title. Notice how the AMC logo is stuck right there in the middle of the game's name. So when you actually read the game's title, it's The Walking Dead Universe AMC Role-Playing Game. I'm not going to play dumb here and suggest that they are trying to put out an AMC role-playing game. It's just the licensor overextending their brand. And in case you needed to be reminded of the title and the logo, there it is again down at the bottom left in watermark form. And then here it reminds you that this is an official RPG of AMC Walking Dead. Then we have a fourth instance of the AMC brand in the bottom right, but notice how small the Free League logo is. The company that is actually writing, designing, illustrating, playtesting, printing, promoting, distributing, and supporting this game with future updates barely has their name in the banner at all. And if you want to hear something funny, the email that actually announced that this game will be launching on Kickstarter contained a version of this graphic that didn't contain Free League's logo at all. So what does this all mean? Maybe nothing, but it really got me thinking about Free League's business model. They've been able to secure some very appealing licenses in Alien, Lord of the Rings, and Blade Runner, but let's be perfectly frank here. The Walking Dead, the original TV show that went on for 11 seasons, got pretty chancy at the end there. If you were a fan of the early seasons, you know what I'm talking about. I don't think anyone can deny that the pilot of that show where Rick wakes up in the hospital bed and the world has collapsed all around him was one of the most classic and gripping ways to start a story. The whole first season is a classic. And really, the show has a lot of cool moments and characters for a long while, but did you make it all the way through season 11? Yeah, me neither. My point with all this is that Free League's fourth major league pop culture license, The Walking Dead, is not as universally loved as their first three. If this trend continues, they could throw their lot in one day with some really questionable IPs. What if they pick a real stinker one of these days? It won't matter how good the attached game is, if they get too desperate to secure pop culture licenses, they will make a damaging misstep and pretty much validate what all their detractors have been railing about for years. I'd really hate to ever have to agree with those folks. In the end, I'm actually looking forward to the Walking Dead Universe AMC role-playing game. There are three reasons why. The first is that it will use Free League's tried and true Year Zero engine. This is a simple but comprehensive rules system that usually has you rolling a small handful of d6s, looking for 6s as a success. Simplicity is a big deal for anyone who doesn't have a dedicated game group and needs to find new players with any frequency. If a game is easy to pick up and learn on the spot, it's more likely that you'll actually be able to play it. And if it's substantially similar to previous popular games that people might have already played, then there's even less learning on the spot that's required. And just as an aside, the Year Zero game engine has become more accessible than ever if you want to use it in a game of your own design. I'll leave a link to the recently revised SRD down below. The second reason I'm looking forward to this game is related to the first, and it has to do with what Free League is adding to the base rules in order to make Walking Dead a distinct game. One of the concepts I saw early on was that each player will have a pool of humanity points that wax and wane depending on their choices. This goes to the heart of the storytelling in the show, where the characters are trying to survive a zombie apocalypse and everything, fighting zombies and other survivors, but one of the biggest struggles they tend to have is with retaining what makes them human. Another major feature of the rules will be a base and fortification building mechanic, maybe like something we saw in Free League's first game, Mutant Year Zero. There could be some fun stories to tell with this RPG. The last thing I'm excited to see is how Free League will package this game. At this point, their box sets and starter boxes are legendary in their quality. The boxes themselves are made of sturdy stock with a thick matte finish, and the paper used for maps is like nothing I've ever seen in other RPG products. If Walking Dead is anything like their Twilight 2000 box, it's going to be a comprehensive one-stop shop game in a box that I think will make a lot of people happy. So in the end, I still have a lot of faith in Free League, both in their design capabilities and in their commitment to high quality. But at this rate of roughly one major pop culture game every 2 years and about 2 new games a year in general, what is this company's product line going to look like in 10 years? Well, let's do the math. At the time of this recording, they have 12 RPGs for sale on their website. And again, as kind of an aside, I've reviewed every last one of them on this channel and they're all great. But in 10 years' time, at their current rate of output, it might be another 20 standalone RPGs, 5 of them being based on some popular TV or movie franchise. It's hard to believe that this company is going to put out 20 more RPGs in the next 10 years, but even if it's half that, are they going to be able to give each of those games enough love and attention in the form of rules revisions and adventure supplements? I recently experienced a major issue that apparently a lot of folks have had with a company that may be growing too quickly. When I tried to order a couple of Forbidden Land books on Black Friday last year, the online order went through, but I didn't get a shipment notification for 5 weeks, nor did I get a response to my inquiries as to what the hell was going on. When I finally requested an order cancellation, they actually responded to my emails, and I was informed that the books I bought were out of stock indefinitely. This sort of operational snafu is pretty alarming for a company that is launching half a dozen projects, large and small, every year without any sign of stopping. I am not rooting for Free League to fail here by any means. I want people to discover their games and experience the beautiful, approachable simplicity of the many iterations of the Year Zero engine and their other game designs. But after seeing that Walking Dead banner, I started to get pretty worried. This hobby needs more companies like Free League, in the sense that we need companies committed to making great and accessible RPGs. And the last thing we need is companies like Free League getting overextended and falling flat on their face. Maybe I'm being paranoid here. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the future of Free League and what you think their best way forward is. And if you'd like to support the channel and keep this kind of content flowing, please consider joining my Patreon. The link for that and all the Free League games I've ever reviewed are down below. Thanks for watching. See ya.